Arman Tsarukyan versus Mateusz Gamrot. Mateusz Gamrot. I don't know. I don't know which one it is, to be honest. All right. I should know, right? Anyway, Tsarukyan versus Gamrot. This is an interesting matchup because of the grappling of Gamrot, right? Like, we've seen it on display, like the Kimura hit over Jeremy Stevens. And another thing about, like, Mateusz Gamrot is he has great hips. Like, he has great hip dexterity and flexibility and stuff, and you saw that in the way that he finished Jeremy Stevens. But you just kind of, like, see that he has, like, this, in these transitions and stuff that he gets into, he kind of has this, like, hip flexibility and dexterity that you don't see from a lot of guys, right? Obviously, a very talented grappler coming off of a big fucking win over Diego Ferreira. I think people sleep on Diego Ferreira a little bit. I think that he's incredibly talented. And Diego put up a good fight throughout that first round. Like, didn't really let Gamrot secure anything too much, but I felt like Gamrot just fought a fight, like a really intelligent fight. Like, he just kind of approached it, and he didn't try to hold on to things too much or pin him down too much. He just kind of slowly wore on Diego. And I think that you saw some really good fight IQ on display from Gamrot in that fight against Diego, right? Because Diego was dangerous early, and Gamrot never got discouraged by the fact that Ferreira would get back up or, like, roll through these things or roll out of things. He just kind of kept it coming consistently and, like, took the takedown when it was still there, kept working for it, and eventually just Diego, being the one defending all the time, it wore on him. You know what I mean? It's more tiring to try to fend those things off, especially if they're being successful at least some of the time, right? So a great win from Gamrot there. He also has that knockout win over Scott Holtzman, right? So the question is, though, is it going to be enough to overcome what Arman Tsarukyan has? And this is honestly, like, Tsarukyan reminds me, I'm not talking like a silhouette, right? I'm talking like, if you watch like two silhouettes going, they wouldn't look like each other necessarily, but he reminds me of GSP, man. His wrestling is very, very good, and his striking is, like, competent enough to get the job done, and it's actually very technical too. He just doesn't do anything wrong. And when he does, he has, like for example, in the fight against Yagos, right, when he went for a takedown and ended up on his back, he got his butterfly hooks in, worked up against the cage, stood up immediately, and then got to the takedown again. Like, he just does everything. Like, even when he makes mistakes, he recovers from them well because he's so well versed in every area. He's good at getting up off his back, right? He's good at securing the takedown. He has a very diverse striking arsenal. He picks, and the number one thing, he picks and chooses things at the right times, right? Like, he's very methodical in his approach to fighting. I think Arman Tsarukyan's a bad motherfucker, dude. I think he's very, another analogy that I'm just kind of drawing here, like, I don't know how I got on this, but I was watching this fucking, like, or I was reading up on, like, racehorses and stuff and, like, what makes a, like, truly great racehorse. And I forget which breed it was specifically, but there's this one breed I was like, what attributes do you want, right? And they were saying that actually you want your horse to be very average. Like, that leads to, like, in terms of its build, like, all of its features should kind of just be more proportionate. And that's what leads to it being, like, a good racehorse. And I think the same thing about Arman Tsarukyan and his skill set. I think that, like, he might not be the best in the world at anything. Like, I think he's I think he's just very, very good at everything. Everything. He's good at the decision-making aspect. His skills are there to match it. He can wrestle you. He can dictate where the fight is taking place. He's competent enough to stand on his feet with really talented guys. He just has, like, everything. And he's one of those guys who I look at and I think, damn. And I mean, like, same thing with Islam, obviously. I think that while Gamrot is going to have a little bit of the specialty in the grappling and stuff, I don't think his grappling, in terms of, like, its application to mixed martial arts, is going to be able to overcome the defensive prowess of Tsarukyan. I think we're going to see Tsarukyan display really good takedown defense, and I think Tsarukyan is going to have an advantage in the striking department. I think Tsarukyan takes over those moments, and I think his well-roundedness, and I said averageness like it's a bad thing, but it's not. It's like, whereas Gamrot's going to be very specialized, I just don't think it's enough to overcome how good Tsarukyan is going to be in those positions as well. And I think that he takes advantage on the feet, and I think he gets a finish in this fight, man. I think he gets Gamrot out of here late in the fight, like 4th or 5th round. Or it goes to a decision where Tsarukyan just kind of slowly starts pouring it on more and more. I think Gamrot's kind of dangerous early because he's athletic, right? like I said, very aggressive, he'll hunt for his takedowns and stuff. But I think he has to hunt for the takedowns over and over and over again. And I think that whereas he kind of like was able to wear on Diego, I think Arman has a little bit more like of that willingness to put the offensive wrestling on you as well, whereas Diego wasn't quite. And I think that's going to in turn wear on Gamrot. And I think that his attempts to take Tsarukyan down are going to be well defended, and that's also going to wear on him. And these things are just going to compound over the course of the fight. And Arman's going to, I think, have a big advantage in the striking department, the footwork, and the setups. So I'm going Tsarukyan by finish, but I don't know. I'm not really comfortable betting on this one, to be honest. I could see it playing out like it is, but I do think Tsarukyan's going to win. I think it's going to be very hard for Gamrot to control Tsarukyan in the positions that he needs to in order to be successful. So, going with Tsarukyan.